I'm George Flinn. You're watching In-Depth TV, and we've got a little bit of a talk to discuss today about relationships. A good friend of mine, Bert Goldman, who is now 90 years old, talked to me about this, and we had a nice discussion, and we've had a discussion about relationships for a long time. You know, there have been all kind of books out, tapes, back when there were cassette tapes, reel-to-reel tapes, DVDs, videos, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all kind of seminars and psychologists and workshops and weekend intensives, all about relationships. And sometimes they'll pick a very, very small part of the process of relationships and really magnify it over a week's time, or maybe a month's time, or weekend after weekend. So let's talk about relationships, the basic things. And we're talking about relationships in your church, in your school, in civic organizations, at work, at home, and with your hobbies. We're going to talk about relationships and how to how to strike up relationships. And this is between men and women, and men and women and children and adults and older people. We're just talking about the basics of human relationships or interactions. How do you develop a relationship? And better yet, how do you maintain one? How do you make sure your relationships are improving? Because the simple definition, and when you get right down to the basics, and rather than going to the intricacies of different relationships, and you may have a different one with your parents, or a different one with your kids, or a different one with your spouse or co-workers. Relationships are about fulfilling each other's needs. Now, there are all kind of needs. And someone may have strong needs about something. And another person may have strong needs. So as long as those needs are fulfilled, the relationship works fine. Some people may have very minimal needs about one thing, and another person may have minimal needs about something. And if those needs aren't fulfilled, well, it's kind of, neutral. But the strong needs must be fulfilled. The medium and the weak needs, maybe not. So relationships, they can get better or get worse. And why do relationships increase on one hand and some decrease and are lost on the other hand? Well, remember, our needs, the needs that we have, affect almost everything in our psychological makeup. They affect our opinions, our attitudes, our viewpoints, our general approach to life, these relationships. And a way to have a need unfulfilled, these unfulfilled needs, is a way to break up a relationship. If you have whoever you're having a relationship with, if they have a strong need and you don't fulfill it, that relationship will slowly die off. Unfulfilled needs. Well, if you have an unfulfilled need, then we concentrate on those. We concentrate on those, and we don't seem to concentrate on the ones fulfilled. And we'll get into what needs are. But just remember, if one is missing, we concentrate on that one and focus on that one rather than the ones we take for granted are fulfilled every day. We have some primary needs. And if you think about it, you can come up with these as well as I can. But they're basically food, water, shelter, air, and, a good opinion of yourself, security, and if you want to throw one in there, a need for someone seeing the good in you. And that's need we usually translate as love. So remember, food, water, a roof over our heads, security, and a good opinion of ourselves, and air. Those are basic needs. As long as they're fulfilled, you can move on to the less basic needs. But you don't have air, you got a big problem. You'll focus on that. If you don't have food or water, you'll focus on that real fast. So when a primary need is lost, one of these, we see it as a life-changing experience. And that includes losing a loved one, losing someone that you care about and they care about you, losing your security. That's not good. You're always running in fight or flight mechanism with the adrenaline going as fast as it can go. And it leads to panic attacks where people are breathing fast, and they get into trouble. You lose food and water, that's tough. You can live without food for a few days. You can't live without water very long, and you can't live without air very long at all. So we see loss of primary needs as a real life-changing experience. And we will do almost anything to get those primary needs met. Now, let's look at infants. A baby. What does a baby need? What does it really need? A baby needs food, water, warmth, don't want it to freeze, security, and love. Now, some people say, well, love really isn't in there. What a normal infant needs to have love. And I know what you're saying. They need to have their diapers changed. That's not a need. That's a little bit further on up. But basic needs of an infant. Now, an adult needs these basic needs, and they're assumed. The basic needs, they assume, I'm going to get these. Now I'm going to move up in the hierarchy of needs. And so I want to have love. I need love. We hear so many songs, I need love. And that becomes an adult need. An adults need self-esteem. They need to think good of themselves. They don't need to think bad of themselves, so they'll go with people around that think good of them. And if you really get down to it, if teenagers and young adults don't have someone that helps them boost their self-esteem or have good self-esteem, some of them elect to join social groups. And these social groups usually are very accepting, and they you're part of a group, you're part of a team, and you're valued. Some of these social groups are called gangs. And so we've got to look out for these needs. These become very important. So we take the basic needs for granted, and then comes love, and we need to procreate. We need to have reproduction. So that's just one of the basic human instincts. And we need to have self-esteem. understand these needs are emotional, not physical. These are emotional needs. So these needs come in here. So once these needs are sort of met, the ante goes up, as they say. We need to have the basic needs, then the adult needs, and then we have a little positive we're going to add to it. What do we need? Well, you've heard all the songs about it. You need money. And that song, Money, That's What I Want, It doesn't say that's what I need, but money, that's what I want. So these are on up there. You need money. And most people have a need to be productive, work. And a lot of people, when they're without work, their self-esteem drops. That's important that we not let people have a drop in self-esteem just because they can't find a job, just because they retire, just because they're changing jobs and don't have one for a few weeks. We've got to make sure that their self-esteem stays up. Also, all of a sudden we have need for hobbies. Some people have real hobbies. And we have a need for vacation. Oh, I need my time off. I need to have a vacation. A vacation is just, I'm going to work all year for that, to fulfill that need for vacation. So remember, as things go up, as we go on the Maslow's hierarchy, as we call it, we have the basic needs, then we have the intermediate, and then we have the upper level needs. And self-actualization is sort of at the top. Okay. Relationship. What's the key to getting and maintaining a good relationship? Well, the key is, as we've talked about several times in this, is fulfilling the needs in other people. I didn't say it was a one-way street. I said fulfilling the needs in other people, and then we're going to finish the sentence, and having your needs fulfilled also. That is a relationship that is mutually fulfilling needs. And I urge you to look at your needs, to look and see what they are, and find out what the other people need. And you say, well, how do you find out? How do you find out what somebody needs? It's real simple. You ask them. You ask them, what are your needs? What are your basic needs? And it may take them a few minutes, a few hours, a few days to answer, because they may have to dig deep and find out what their real needs are. Just like you may have to do the same thing. But we're going to talk more about this in part 2. We're going to talk about how to have a better relationship. And I'm talking about how to have a better relationship with the people in your life. And it's not the same for everyone, but how to have a better relationship at work, with your hobbies, at your church, at your civic organization. But first and foremost, have a better relationship within your family, in your extended family. I know you can't wait for part 2 of this, and we'll have it coming up, but I just wanted to help you understand what the basic needs are in relationships. I'm George Flinn. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.